So good afternoon, everybody. So to start off, I included some pictures of places that may seem familiar to some of you. So the first one, the White Rock Mound. Maybe you've seen people post Instagram pictures there, or you've hiked up it yourself. The next picture is of bush wildlife. So maybe you've been fishing there, or you've just heard of it. And then this building right here is the Weldon Spring Army Reserve Center, which is the closest Army Reserve Center to us. But what you may not know this familiar place it as is the Department of Energy's Weldon Spring Site Remedial Action Plan, or the Weldon Spring Nuclear Waste Site. So let me begin. In 1940, 17,323 acres of land was acquired by the government by forcing people off their land and essentially wiping 3 towns off the map. This was now government land known as the Weldon Spring Ordnance Work Site, also known as WSOW. It contained facilities and operational land used for the production of explosives for World War II. This production began in 1941 through 1945 when the Atlas Powder Company manufactured TNT and DNT. And beginning in 1957 through 1966, the Atomic Energy Commission produced uranium ore, which is fuel for our nuclear reactors and our defense equipment. Additionally, a quarry on the land was used to mine limestone for construction in the ordnance works. In the time between this, the land was used as a disposal site for uranium and radium residues. So within this large chunk of time, waste from the manufacturing was burned, buried, and disposed of throughout the land, causing extreme contamination to surrounding soil and groundwater. For example, the limestone mining that went on in the quarry, after that was finished, the quarry was then used to burn waste and dispose of materials, and this action led to extreme contamination of water nearby. Therefore, in 1985, the Army transferred full custody of the chemical plant to the United States Department of Energy to control and decontaminate the plant. Following the trials of that, in 1989, the United States Environmental Protection Agency, also known as the EPA, listed portions of the area contaminated and put them on the national priorities list. The actions that took place was dividing land into 4 operable units: the chemical plant OU, the quarry bulk waste OU, the quarry residuals OU, and the groundwater OU. These areas were then addressed by cleanup crews and efforts to decontaminate. Remedial actions concluded in 2001 with the completion of the site's disposal cell, a 41-acre engineered structure designed to contain the site's waste resulting from the cleanup, which to us is that White Rock Mound. So what you may be wondering is what it's like today. And there's extreme controversy over whether or not the cleanup was actually successful. Primary containments of concern on the land and surrounding soil today still includes uranium, thorium, and radium, and their radioactive decay products. Alongside that, the land has now have neighborhoods on it and is being used and owned. Portions of the August A. Bush Memorial Conservation Area, to us known as bush wildlife, is within those acres, and in the Department of Energy's 2021 report, uranium from the site is found in Bush Lake number 34. The quarry that was used for the limestone mining is located 3/4 of a mile from the St. Charles County well field, which is a drinking water source for approximately 70,000 people. Additionally, the quarry was located along Femi Osage Creek, which runs into the Missouri River. In 2021, the Missouri Department of Natural Resources documented that groundwater continues to contain high levels of bomb-grade uranium. Lastly, the federal government admits this site caused cancer and death. Cancers can include anything from skin and bone to lung, bladder, brain, stomach, and illnesses can include anything to blood disorders, muscle diseases, or reproductive issues. So now you may be asking, what is being done? That is, U.S. Senator Josh Hawley has secured a vote on his legislation to reauthorize the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, also known as the RECA, which will compensate, meaning pay, victims of the radioactive waste in St. Louis and the St. Charles region, allowing those people to help pay for their treatment of their diseases and cancer caused by radioactive waste. Alongside the Weldon Springs site, many of you may also have heard of other sites, including Coldwater Creek, which runs through Florissant and Hazelwood, the West Lake landfill that runs through or goes in Bridgeton, the United Nuclear Corp in Festus, the Tyson Valley Powder Farm in St. Louis, the St. Louis Downtown Mountain Crop Chemical Works, and the Latley Avenue properties of St. Louis. Now, these are all things that seem horrible, scary, and surreal, and it can be hard to believe that it's truly affecting those today. That's why I thought I'd share my story too. So this man on your left, that was my grandpa. He managed a cleanup crew at the Weldon Springs site. In May of 2022, he was diagnosed with sarcoma, a rare cancer you get from exposure to chemicals and radiation. He passed away 6 short months later as a result to his time at the cleanup site. So if you're like me and you want to know more about this or get involved, here are some things you can do to get started. First, there's many movies and documentaries about radiation. Some include The Safe Side of the Fence, The Atomic Home Front, The First Secret City, or a recent one, Oppenheimer. Next is recent news articles about the legislation. Then the third being Facebook groups. There's a lot out there, pretty much one for every site, and those include stories from people personally impacted. And lastly, there's a national museum detailing the history of the Weldon Springs site at the base of the 41-acre disposal site. So I hope you all are now a bit more aware, and thank you for your time.